I've told you folks before that I think John Boehner is a huge problem for conservatives for the future of the Republican Party. He's an old bull, and he knows one thing, how to gain power and how to hold on to it. And he did it again right in front of our eyes. I want to spell this out for you so you can understand what's going on and understand why I say the things that I say. Because they're thought through. We try to become strategic and so forth. This is in Red State, which is a terrific website, by a fellow by the name of Daniel Horowitz. I don't know him, but he writes quite well over there. And he writes, for those of us who thought John Boehner was weak and flaccid in the face of adversity, we might consider rethinking our estimation of him. The Hill newspaper has a very informative article out today detailing all of Boehner's recent power grabs and scorched earth maneuvering in order to crush conservative opposition in the House. The biggest problem for conservatives right now, ladies and gentlemen, is John Boehner. After locking up the top 3 leadership spots for himself, Cantor, and McCarthy, these are the 3 stooges, Boehner made sure to deny conservatives the number 4 slot. The Hill reports, yet Boehner's internal support was on display when McMorris Rodgers, his favorite candidate, this is a lady from Washington State, captured the number 4 ranked GOP leadership post. The battle to be the head of the House GOP conference was a hard-fought one between McMorris Rodgers and former Republican Study Committee Chairman Tom Price, who I know and is a good man. Boehner never officially endorsed McMorris Rodgers, but his support for her was well known. Price, meanwhile, was backed by Budget Committee Chairman Paul Ryan. Then he tries to co-opt Paul Ryan, a man who likes to play team ball, in an effort, this is going on with the Horowitz comment, in an effort to get his seal of approval on the impending fiscal cliff capitulation. Oh, and Boehner is going to capitulate, because in the end he's a coward. He's a political coward. The Hill goes on. Boehner was quick to include Ryan, back from the presidential campaign trail, and a small group of key lawmakers advising him of strategies ahead of the fiscal cliff negotiations with the White House. The appointment was a shrewd one. If Ryan endorses a fiscal cliff pact, many conservatives in the House will fall in line. So you see, Boehner is constantly scheming in the shadows, constantly building more and more support for himself, so it makes it much more difficult to dislodge him. Then Boehner proceeded to stack the steering committee, the Republican steering committee, with his acolytes. The steering committee is responsible for doling out committee assignments to the entire House GOP conference. So either you fall in line, which is what Boehner told them to do, remember? Just fall in line. This is the way it is. Get your asses in line, I think was his phrase. Or you're going to be punished. You won't get committee assignments that you want to help your district. You won't get funding for your office that you want. All kinds of punishment. The steering committee is comprised of all leadership members, Fred Upton, Dave Camp, Hal Rogers, and also Paul Ryan and a number of leadership allies. Worse yet, he gave himself multiple votes. Boehner rewards loyalty in his power on the GOP steering committee, which selects panel chairman and other committee slots, has been expanded. In other words, Boehner has expanded his own power. Boehner now has 5 votes on the committee, up from 4. Cantor has 3, and Majority Whip Kevin McCarthy has 2, while everyone else registers 1 vote. You get this? This guy's king of the House. He's not Speaker of the House. This is how he punishes the Tea Party candidate. And by the way, in the primary, as I said, in the Bachmann case and other cases, they withheld Republican support, Republican donations to certain of these candidates that don't go along with him to try and take them out altogether. I want you to understand what and who John Boehner is. And if the only one in talk radio is going to tell you, then that's just damn fine. Lastly, Boehner and the boys moved to crush any organized conservative opposition through the Republican Study Committee. And folks, the Republican Study Committee is the committee of conservative members of the House of Representatives that make their own proposed policies and budgets and suggestions for the leadership, and they make them available to you and me. So he's tried to take them down, too. And how did he do that? By helping to install Steve Scalise as chairman. Scalise has committed to working closely with the leadership at a time when leadership is committed to banishing conservatives from all levers of power. When you step back and reflect on these hardball tactics of the speaker, it's tough to overlook the irony behind his ultimate motivation. Boehner is employing scorch-the-earth tactics against conservatives so he can have free rein in capitulating to the Democrats on a laundry list of policy items. We find the same thing during primary challenges from conservatives, writes Horowitz. The establishment candidates who tend to fold like cheap accordions before their Democrat masters while in office transform into uncompromising, truculent fighters who seek nothing short of unmitigated destruction, if anyone and anything in their path to power in seeking the nomination. Yet for some reason this sort of aggressiveness is only reserved for conservative adversaries, like the Tea Party. Boehner hates the Tea Party. Remember where he said, I don't understand this difference between the Tea Party and Republicans. We're all the same. Horowitz writes, Daniel Horowitz, I've got a novel idea. Boehner should start dealing with Obama the same way he deals with conservatives. There's a reason why Republican ideas are more popular than Republican officials. I am telling you, as long as John Boehner is Speaker of the House, we'll be taking steps backwards. We'll be taking steps backwards. You see how he's consolidated his power? This is also why I do not like Cantor, and I do not like the other one, McCarthy. They're in on the game. All this talk about how Cantor and Boehner don't get along, lies. Lies. They protect each other, they empower each other, they support each other. So now where's the conservative voice in the House of Representatives? Individual members, none of the committee chairmen, not the Republican Study Committee, none of the leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, the old bull mush rhino Republicans have devoured the conservative movement in the House of Representatives. And until John Boehner is dislodged as the Speaker, we're not going to make any progress when it comes to dealing with Obama. Now you've been informed. Now we're going to focus on him more and more, aren't we? Now we're going to expose him more and more, aren't we? You're damn right we are. We name names on this program because talking in generalities, talking academically, does us no good. John Boehner despises conservatives and has done everything he can to crush them on Capitol Hill. Mr. Boehner, you're on our radar, and we're staring right at you.